And we're live.
Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
Good evening. This is Left Lane Chronicles, episode 1. The ride begins. I'm cut off. I'm here with SHAWIL, my brother. And tonight we're joined by someone who's not just riding, she's leading. Out of Virginia, she's built a name for herself in the biker community through her YouTube channel where she documents her journey on a 2023 Harley-Davidson Road Glide Special. She's got rich, skilled road miles and a voice that resonates with riders across all the country. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome to the left lane, Just Gabs757.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
All right. Good evening. Good evening. Well, it's the first episode. Feel good?
Yay! Thanks for having me.
How was that?
Let's do it.
That was a good intro, right?
Yeah, I liked it. I was like, yeah, that was me. I did that.
All right. Well, I guess we could just get right into it. We've been talking for a little while now. So,
right.
One of the first questions that we have for you would be for women out there eyeing a bike for her first time, what do you wish somebody would have told you before you threw your leg over your first ride?
Oh, wow, that's a good question. I would say do your research, meaning like look at different type of bikes. You don't have to rush into something. My first bike, and y'all better not laugh. My first bike was a Honda CBR 250. I purchased that bike. Luckily, it wasn't financed or anything like that. But I quickly learned that okay, this isn't anything. And then even once I got rid of that bike, I went and got a Sportster, and I quickly got over that bike really fast. So I would just say before purchasing something, just go if go to whatever dealership that you're looking at, whatever brand, and go, test ride multiple times if you have to, see what's comfortable for you. Yeah.
Right. One of my first bikes was a Kawasaki Vulcan 900. It was my baby. At least I thought it was.
Hey, mine was a ZX6R.
Oh. Yeah, I never got on a sports bike. Well, I never rode a sports bike on the street. So
where'd you ride it at?
Like I had like a couple of friends look, I know I had a couple of friends, like I've been on a Busa, but like, like in the parking lot, I never like took it out and went, city to city, state to state.
Oh, she was on there she was just sitting on the bike.
Nah, I was like trying to figure out, and then I was like, nah, this ain't me. This is not my calling.
One of the first times I hopped on a street bike was at a funeral home. One of the guys that worked with me, he owned a street bike, and we always, like I said, I had a Kawasaki first, and then I had a Fat Boy, then I had a '89 Ultra Classic. But I'd never been on a street bike, and he'd always say, ride it around the parking lot or with the third. And one day I hopped on it, I took it around the parking lot. I worked at Laughlin Service Funeral Home in Huntsville, Alabama. It's the oldest funeral home in Alabama. And I realized real quick that, man, I would kill myself on one of them bikes because they're too fun. They're too, like, you just think about it and the bike goes quick. It's great. I like sitting back and cruising.
Well, that's why I got the Cruiser too. So I guess another question would be, what is like one of your most memorable rides that you've been on so far?
Oh, good question. So I would have to say this past weekend. This past weekend will probably be definitely at the top for me right now to date. And over the weekend, I went to Louisiana for Just GQ's Unleash the Peace weekend. And the reason why it's so memorable to me is because they have this thing called Iron Butt Challenge where you do like 1,000 miles in 24 hours. That's like the bottom of it. And then it goes up depending on, how high speed you want to be. I did the 1,024 hours, and I seen a lot of people do it, and I was like, yo, I want to do that, have my little bragging rights and stuff. And that's the longest trip I've been on by myself. I rode out on Thursday, like around like 2 in the morning. Got to Louisiana, kickstand down around like 8, 9. So to date, that would be one of my memorables. And then I just had a really good time over the weekend. So stuff like that is like when you see somebody do something and you're like, yo, I want to try that out, and it actually works out, no hiccups, no mechanical issues, you know, you
Because
see.
the way it always goes, there's 20 people when the ride starts, or when you talk about the ride, and then by the time the ride starts, there's probably 3 or 4, and then the day of the ride, it's just you and somebody else.
Yeah, like I'm the type of person, like if I can do it, I got the time off and the resources, I'm all for it. I'm have my stuff packed up, and I had my mindset like I want to do this. So I'm glad I was able to achieve that goal.
Well, at least you made it through Tennessee without any hiccups. I can't say the same for
Stop
myself.
being, stop being
I
Actually,
can't say the same.
I didn't go that route. I went down 85, so I pretty much came from Virginia all the way through, the Carolinas, Georgia, and everything. But it would have been nice to stop through Tennessee. I do want to go to Tennessee, actually.
Well, my dear brother here came to see me in Tennessee, and the roads weren't too nice to him. They supposedly were going to have this thing called pot for potholes here in Nashville, and that
Yeah,
didn't that didn't go too well.
my bike had to stay there for what, like a week or two. I was like,
Uh-huh.
oh man.
Right. Stayed here forever.
How about
So,
y'all? Like, what rides would y'all say would be like your most memorable?
oh man, I would have to say it was that Oklahoma ride coming back. I mean, I would have said Canada, but it would definitely have to be that Oklahoma because that was my longest trip solo. Um, I went to Virginia before that, but that trip right there was definitely one of my favorites. Even though what happened, but I still got to go back and see my boy out here. He showed me mad love out there, so it was
How long did it
definitely a
take you to get there?
sure. I was on the road for maybe like 12 hours.
Yeah, what you left at? You text me, it was like 2 o'clock, 2 a.m. Say, hey, I'm about to head your way. I said, okay, he'll be here by lunchtime or something. I
Mhm.
mean,
Gas
he
cap.
stopped.
My gas cap got snatched up.
Gas cap got stolen. Tire went flat. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong.
Oh my gosh, somebody took your gas cap? What the fuck?
Have you ever
I
heard of that? I've never heard.
I
I've been around the
I
world in
call
some
like so
places twice. I ain't never heard
so
nobody get
I
stolen
called
gas
him.
cap.
I called him. I'm like I said, yo, because the on the the station thing, it was like you got to go in and pay for it. I'm like, okay, cool. So I get off my bike. I look, like, all right. I walk in, go use the bathroom, come out. Hey, I want it on pump this and that. I walk out. I'm like, yo. I go in. I'm like, hey man, you seen people by my bike? He's like, yeah. A few guys was around it. It was the same guys. Only people that probably went was the same guys that said, nice bike. It was a really small like town area. And I come back, they were gone. Freaking next thing you know, I'm like, can you run the cameras back? He's like, I don't have the password for that. Oh, so now you don't got the password for the cameras. Okay.
That's wild.
But I called Harley Davidson, like 3 different Harley Davidsons. One second. Oh, appreciate it. And then and then freaking they ended up getting me one. So but that Harley Davidson was like what, like 3 to 4 hours from your house. So I had to stay in Knoxville that night.
Um, yeah. Well, no. You were in Nashville. You stopped in Nashville, so that's
No, I stopped in Knoxville coming
or,
from that
well,
Harley Davidson.
yeah. Oh, Knoxville. Yeah. So Knoxville's on the other end. Yeah.
So
You're right. You're right. My
So
bad. I'm
more
trying
of
to
the
find
story,
the.
keep an extra gas cap with you on the road. Gotcha.
Dude, I've never seen
and I
anybody.
have an extra here at the house. That's the crazy thing. I wouldn't think anyone would ever do that, but I mean, it happened. So it's not my proudest moment,
That's
but
crazy.
it is what it is. Yeah. So, but hey, it hasn't happened again. So
All
we're good.
right, not going big one.
Yeah. Oh well. It is, I don't think I've ever had anybody steal anything from me on the road when I've been traveling. But then again, I don't know.
I mean, I've
I've
had
never
people
had
steal stuff off
anybody
my truck
steal
in the Marine Corps.
anything.
So just
Okay.
saying.
Have you ever had anybody steal anything off your bike?
No, thank God, no. I mean, for the most part, I try to be good at locking, uh, my bags and
Yeah.
everything. The only thing, well, I'll take that back. I was thinking about that over the weekend. I think I want to get me a Keen Tour pack because um, a lot of times I just so used to throwing my helmet and I just be thinking like, what if somebody snatched my helmet, or I don't know. So
You know, it'll definitely happen. Trust me. Up here last summer in Connecticut. No, it was in Plymouth. Somebody snatched the guy's helmet right off his bike.
yeah,
So
I heard of
I
that
was I
happening
love having
before.
a back for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
mean, it happens. I mean, like there was a young lady I seen a report of a young lady last year in Cali. She rode all the way to Cali and got her bike snatched. So and it sucks
oh
because stuff like that
yeah.
actually happens. Yeah, stuff like that actually happens. I had a buddy who had a sport bike and his bike, military housing, his bike got stole out of his garage. And I was supposed to pick it up that day, and he was like, "Yeah, don't even come. Someone stole my bike."
Military housing. That's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Hey,
Especially now, that we're
hey,
in that time. Like I really didn't pay attention, but I know a lot of people talk about people bikes getting snatched and stuff at bike week, so you gotta be on alert.
yeah,
Have you
I don't.
heard? Have you been to? Or have you heard? Have you been to the bike week, South Carolina, like the Myrtle Beach?
So they just had one this past weekend. I didn't go this year because I was in Louisiana, but I
Gotcha.
went the last 2 years, and I definitely heard of people bikes getting snatched.
Yeah.
Like
I've
when
never been to Myrtle Beach.
I went, and when I went with my girls, we pretty much like chained our bikes together.
Yeah.
Like we had to like put it in a corner, like put it in a parking lot, and then sorry, we had to put it in a parking lot and parking garage, and then link them together. And then last year, um my bike wasn't linked to anybody's, but I had like one of those locks, and it was pretty much in a parking garage where there was like somebody in the garage 24 hours a day to make sure that nobody was like doing no funny business.
Right. I'll tell you something hilarious that happened to us. We were going through Atlanta. I think we were in Buckhead. We were going up to Virginia, leaving from Birmingham. We stopped. So I can't see at nighttime. Once it starts getting dark, I can't see anything. And so I had fallen back and got behind my brother. We pulled over to a gas station. He said, "What's going on?" I said, "Well, to be honest, all I could see was your patch. So I was following it. I can't see anything else." He said, "Well, we need to stop for sure." I said, "Yeah, most definitely." We pulled up to a gas station. We pulled up to a hotel, left the gas station, pulled up to a hotel, and we had to wrap our bikes with bicycle chains, our bicycle wire, whatever you call it. We wrapped it around this big pillar in front of the hotel. So because there's homeless people sleeping across the street in the woods, we were in like a horrible, horrible hotel. And the owner, he was like, "Okay, I'll watch it, whatever." When boy X, he goes back. We get the rooms, we're taken care of. He says, "Hey, I'm gonna go to Waffle House. I'll holler at you in a little while." I say, "All right, I don't need anything. I'll talk to you in a minute." He goes down there. This man at the front desk of the hotel brings out a John Wayne gun, and he tries to stop him. He says, "Hey, you can't take those bikes. Leave him alone." He's like, "No, no, no, bro. It's me. It's me. It's me." And X is probably 7'2", 300 some pounds. And this little Iranian man had a damn John Wayne gun ready to blow him away because
Oh,
he thought he was stealing the bike.
he was serious. He was like, they told me to watch y'all bikes. And
Yeah, I
that's what I'm
swear.
gonna
And he's like,
do.
"No, it's me. It's me."
What they say
Yeah,
on that
Hey, he
side?
did his
He said,
job.
"I die for
yeah,
this shit too."
right, right.
Hey, he did his job. He did his job. That man should got a tip that night. He did his job.
That leads me to the next question. Every rider's got that one piece of gear that they consider gospel. What when you go on your rides, what's the first thing that you pack when the road calls, and when you're prepping for a run, or pep? Excuse me, I'm trying to read something and now I can't speak. If you're prepping for a run, uh, what do you bring with
Um, that's a good question. I'm still learning the packing list, if that makes sense. Like I make sure that I have like my jump pack, like what's the little zip ties, my little tools. Matter of fact, when I was on this trip, I felt like I didn't have enough damn tools because there was a guy that told me that I need to change my shifter link,
you?
and I bought some little tool bag or whatever, and then I looked at his compared to what I had, and I was like, "This shit more advanced." So just trying to make sure I have like that emergency pack is like really important if I'm on the side of the road, like if it's something that I can possibly rig together myself. I think that's like more important than anything at the moment. Other than that, I don't have like patches and stuff for my tires, but I want to like get that because I was told like if I get like a patch kit or something, if I get a nail, I should,
What's something that you can't live without on the road that you have to take with you?
Oh, that's a good question. You about to stump me with that one. I can't answer that at the moment, to be honest. I mean,
Yeah,
I'll say my phone.
probably a phone.
Yeah, my
Sure.
phone because that's my form of communication. I want everybody to know where I'm at. So for now, I would say my phone.
I
Yeah.
thought she
We
was about to
used
say
to
her
we
Ranger.
used to all be on Live 360, so you couldn't move without everybody knowing what was going on. Yeah,
Hmm
makes sense. Rain
Don't
gear,
forget your rain gear
guys.
because
Yeah, rain
it's
gear.
always raining.
I just got some brand new rain gear. GQ in his area. Well, I had rain gear. I had a light set, but I went and bought a heavier duty set, and thank God that I did because it did start raining on the way back home. So I got rain gear. I got heated gear. Now it's starting to come. Yes, heated gear.
Wilson put me on that.
Heated gear. Very essential, very important because I'm starting to understand that just because I'm in Virginia and it's 75 degrees does not mean it's going to be 75 degrees wherever I'm going. Um, Another thing was I don't have it yet, but I think I need to get some new lights because I ran into fog for the first time over the weekend. And when I said I couldn't see shit, I was like, okay, yeah, it's time to get one of those sets that got the amber light and the fog light and everything like that. So I would say just having those things to kind of make the ride more comfortable. I want to be dry, I want to be warm, and I want to be able to see.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, lights is definitely important. I would say one of the first few um, adjustments I made was putting more lights on my bike, only because up here in Connecticut, the further up north you go, they don't believe in street lights. So um, you're always in like
He said it. He said
I
it so
can't make
seriously.
I can't make this up. Um, Riding through the like a lot of these roads up here is like back roads to get to certain places. When I was in Maine, we was riding back from Arcadia National Park, and I'm like, yo, I can't see nothing. Like, what the heck? And luckily, the person I was riding with, my friend Mina, she had her bike is like well lit up. She says her bike is the airport pretty much because that's what it looks like coming at you, like you just at the airport. So I ended up adding more lights to mine, and and shout out to Kelly B because that's one of the things that watching his videos, he used to always say, lights. You want to be able to see and you want to be seen,
Right.
and that was the best
I wish I would
advice
have lights.
I've gotten. So um, you definitely like. There's a lot of brands out there, and a lot of people are doing that. The amber and the white light. I guess it really just depends on your preference too, on which way you go with it. I'm not gonna have you go out there and say which brand. You know what I'm saying? We'll say that for your videos in the future. Um,
Yeah. I mean, I have an idea of what brand I want to go with, but I would definitely say so. Luckily, um, on the way down, it wasn't too bad, but coming back, like leaving out of Louisiana, I was with my sister, and luckily her bike got extra lights on it, so she was lead, and I was just like, oh my goodness, like I can't see nothing, and I'm just glad I wasn't by myself. So, um, being on the road, I done learned, a few things about what I need to do to make the ride more comfortable, which I think is really important. And, of course, being safe. So
okay. So I guess what would be what do you say like your next big project would be in the works? Do you have something that you have lined up, or um, you still in the planning process for
So
that?
Saturday.
yeah, definitely still in the planning process. I mean, I have some rides lined up that I would like to do, like places I want to go. Like I want to go to Niagara Falls. I want to go um to the Civil Rights Museum. I want to go um I want to do I-10, like rides and stuff like that. I just don't know when I'm going to do it. gotta take the time off to do it. And then there's stuff that I want to do to my bike as well. So
And so,
have you done a lot of modifications to it?
no, not so far. So far the only thing I've done was change my slip-ons. I have tab on my slip-ons and stuff, and I'm learning about the air intake and the cam and all that other stuff like that. Some of the guys, that I reach out to, they're like, "This is what you got to do, Gab," and I'm like, "Okay." 'Cause this is my first bike that I'm making it my own. My two previous bikes, the handlebars, everything, it was already kind of like work done to it. So this is my first bike where I'm like, okay, I'm putting my spin on it. So.
Gotcha.
I would say definitely, do the suspension. Um,
Mhm.
Trust me, it'll save you back.
Alright.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Um, for the other women that are out there that would see this or see your videos and see you, um, what would you say to like encourage them, if they was like having a little fear or doubt about getting on twos and traveling solo? Like, what would you say to them?
Oh, I would say I definitely understand. At first, it can be kind of nerve-wracking. I would say at first, like take baby steps. Get used to your bike, ride with somebody first that's used to uh going out of state, and so you can kind of see like, what they're doing. Um it was a what they call a crawl, walk, run phase for me. Like I didn't just pop out. Like I started riding within my area, and then I started riding with other people out of state, and then I got to the point where I was like, okay, well, I kind of see what they do. So now I feel more comfortable. Like, even when the first time that I went out of state, I didn't go far. I live in Virginia, and I think I rode to Raleigh. And I was like so excited. I mean, you couldn't tell me anything. I was like, y'all, I went to Raleigh. I crossed state lines by myself. Like I thought I was hot shit. And I was proud of myself because I had kind of overcame that fear. And then it got from Raleigh to South Carolina. I went to South Carolina a few times, and I went from South Carolina, as far as in like getting further out. Then I went to Georgia. Then I was like, okay, you out of the Carolinas now. So it wasn't, yeah, it wasn't like just a straight shot. It was literally just me slowly, gradually getting to that point. And then now I'm at the point where I'm like, shit, where I'm going next. So I think I done overcame, that fear now. If that answers your question.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
So
Cutoff has a you got
I have a question for you. You've let strangers into your journey through a lens most folks don't get to see. What surprised you about this connection, and what has been the most rewarding part of putting it all out there for other people to see?
The most reward what surprised me was like being a content creator, of course you want somebody to like your content, right? And I remember like I just hit 1,000 subscribers like probably like a month ago. But when I was like at 300 subscribers, like people was like cheering me on, and it was like, yo, like talking to me, like really like, hey Gab, I like your content and everything. People on internet can be, is nice or an asshole if they want to because they don't owe you anything. So I was really surprised that they were really taking in like what I was putting out, and they was accepting, the content I was
Yep.
putting out. So I was like, okay, cool. And then people started telling me like, yo, you make me want to like ride, or I never knew about this event. So I was like, okay, cool. What I'm doing is working because I was being transparent, like, hey, y'all check this out, check that out. So that really to me was surprising because I was like, okay, and it was the same people that was comment. I was like, okay, I remember seeing this person comment on the last video, and then just hearing the part where somebody says, hey, you inspire me, or now I want to get a bike or whatever. I think that's cool.
Absolutely. That is cool. Yeah.
So, do you think, with your your success, and as you keep growing, do you feel like there's like some pressure to like, keep the good content rolling out, or do you feel like you're in a comfortable space and the train is just moving?
I'll say a little bit of both. It's always the what am I going to do next? What do I need to do to keep, people's attention? How can I be different? I think I'm starting to get better at being comfortable with, showing myself. At first, it was a little nerve wracking, talking into a camera and just like, "Hey guys, I'm Gab," you try to figure out what to say, but now I'm looking at it like I'm actually like talking to a community of people, and they are showing me that they want to listen to what I have to say. So I think it's just really just staying in my lane, being true to myself. Um, Things that I think that's dope, just putting it out there. I know that I won't please everybody, but for the most part, if it's something that I think is cool, I'm gonna share it.
If there was, I would say like one YouTuber, right? That's an OG in the game, right? That you can do a coast to coast trip with, and this is no shade to anyone, it's just if you could do a trip with this person, someone that you inspired to do a trip with, you know, who would it be? Because I'm pretty sure you want to do it with everyone, but we know like which YouTuber was it that said it the best? I think it was Sensei who said it the best, where he was like, everyone can't make it.
Right, yeah.
So who would that YouTuber be that you would want to do a coast to coast trip with?
Oh man, that's a hard one. But if I had to say, and I don't want to make it seem like I'm being biased, but I would say GQ.
Oh yeah.
And it's
I
not
mean,
and it's not because I just came from his event. It's because I promise you, look, why you put me on the spot? It's because when I started looking at his content, right, that man right in every what's the word I'm looking for? Rain, you know what I'm saying? Like pouring down rain. Like I'm just sitting here thinking like, okay, when it comes to being able to adapt to the weather and everything like that's somebody that I feel like that I've seen and that he has shown that okay, all right, get Moranger, this is how you do this is how you get through it and everything like that. Um, I would love to pick his brain. I would love to do that. Yeah.
I can agree with that. Because I think in one of his videos, me and him is like the same height. He's like what 5'7", 5'8".
Hmm.
Uh, and he actually helped me make the decision on like what windscreen was actually good for me. And like he does, that man, it's like it's not one road he hasn't touched yet. And I can agree with you on that. It would be a great experience riding with him. Um, I would definitely say I would definitely enjoy riding with like Kelly B for sure.
Hmm.
Only because I know he'll be talking trash about me, how
Yeah,
his,
he
his
gonna be
bike is like
like,
gonna get dusty.
man.
I got so if Kelly B watching this, I know you got a bigger motor than I do. I still got the 114. So I mean,
Look, I
one
do
day I'll get up
too.
there.
I do too.
So you know,
Stop.
I don't want to get laughed at. I don't want to get laughed at. I don't want to be on the Kelly B. You just got dusted cam. Video.
Ah!
So
I'm gonna be up there. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be up there. You have to put my business out there like that, but it's cool
hey,
though.
I can hear him laughing right now. You know what I'm saying? I can hear him right now. But I don't know if cut off. You got another question?
Uh, yeah, I got you one. All right, so let's be real for a minute. Being a woman on the set, we know it comes with a lot of noise, a lot of bullshit. How do you handle all that bullshit and still, or excuse me, how do you handle all that? Let's not get demonetized. How do you handle all that negative stuff being said in the back and still stay louder than the critics?
So for me in my area, um, I just go out and I support. Like I think for me it's more of like a respect thing. I don't try to get in like cliques or I don't try to be in people personal business. I know, sometimes things can get real political and everything like that. So I just try to stay in my lane. If it's something that's going on where there's beef, I try to just stay away from it and just pull up on people, support, smile, take pictures, but I don't try to get in like like anybody business or anything like that. So I think staying that way has kept me out of trouble. A lot of times, sometimes I don't even know what's going on till later after the fact. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was going on. Um, so I really try to separate and try to just do my thing. And so far it's been working. That's the best way for me to explain that.
Right on. Well, good, good. Because you know, I've seen it and experienced it where it doesn't really matter how it doesn't really matter how good a lady can ride. It you know sometimes they fall into those categories of fall into the flesh and things of that nature, and then especially on the set,
Hmm.
um, they get they fall into a category of people, and it doesn't matter at that point. It doesn't matter how good of a rider you was. It doesn't matter how outstanding of a club member you were, or a sisterhood, or whatever. It doesn't. None of those things really matter because you know you've allowed yourself to fall into those categories, and it's
Yeah.
very easy and unfortunate. I've seen it, so that's why you know. Then people talk, and then you can be on the other spectrum where you could be doing everything correctly, but because you're doing everything correctly, now you're ruffling the feathers of people that see that, and so they could say you know bad things about a person. I just think it's harder for a woman on the, especially on that side of the world. It's
Yeah, I mean, as far as in what you're explaining, I think some of that it it stems from personal uh relationships.
mm,
If that makes sense. Like, um, as far as in like when a woman like gets into like, because sometimes women can be catty or sometimes a woman can um have an interaction or friendship with, somebody else and then somebody else don't like that. So I don't really, I mean, I in my area, like I said, I speak to everybody. I go support events. I might pop in and take pictures and dance and whatever, but as far as in the personal he said, she said stuff like that, um, I don't really participate in that. As far as in being a rider and, going out and stuff like that, yeah, I'm pretty sure, people gonna talk regardless if you doing good or bad. I don't let none of that shit phase me because at the end of the day, I bought my bike to ride it,
right on,
not to
absolutely.
impress anybody. I really don't care when it comes to, if somebody's saying something negative about me, if they were, because I'm riding, because that's what I signed up to do.
For sure.
That's the reason I
Yeah.
bought the bike. So, I mean, they can have their personal feels. I don't know anybody personally, but I mean, I really don't pay attention to stuff
I
like
feel
that.
that. I was just curious. Just
I w-
curious.
and a ca- and a caveat off of that, I would say, well, I just want to say, I commend you for, or any woman, that any woman that's out there, whether it's YouTube or you just civilian rider, or you just riding, just for the joy of it. I commend you for being out there. You all for being out there and actually showing up. I believe I seen a few videos of the all women rides and stuff like that, and I did see a few guys out there showing support and stuff like that. And I feel that within the bike community, I get it. Everybody has their own, stigma or their own thought process. But this is just my opinion. I feel that as the riding community itself, you know, just supporting one another and standing strong because together, because a lot of us get, the bad reputation, whether it's if some people are just regular riders, whether you're a sport bike rider and you want to keep doing wheelies or whatever up the street,
Mhm.
which is pretty dangerous. You can put people health, safety at risk. But or people see us on like Harleys and whatnot, and Indians or whatever it is, or a tour or bag or whatever. But they see us and they get this bad stigma, when it shouldn't be like that. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that everyone stands together, especially going to GQs, Unleash the Peace and whatnot, things like that, is definitely wonderful. And I seen one of your videos where I want to say you was thinking about putting something like that together in your area.
Mhm.
Honestly, I think that would be phenomenal. Whether it was something for supporting women or just supporting all bikers in general, however, whatever route you go with that. I don't know that in in detail, but I feel like by doing that, you open that door to showing people that it's not what people put on the news, what the news put out, and stuff like that. It's actually showing that we are here, we can stand together. We are not bad people. We actually are people that just wants to do something that's fun and
I'm a bad person.
enjoy our and,
he's a
and enjoy our lives. You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean,
So
believe it or not, though, I mean, I can only speak from my area because I haven't been a part of any other set, but the one that I'm in now,
mhm.
there are organizations that do stuff in the community. I've seen back to school coat drives, food drives, especially around the holidays and stuff. I know the club I'm with, Beautiful Minds, here in Hampton Roads, we've uh, got gifts and stuff for children, angel trees and stuff, and fed the homeless, and so there's people that's already doing it. It's just that they might not get as much attention because negativity sometimes supersedes what people are doing good. Sometimes people love to thrive off of thinking like, oh well, if I see you with a vest and stuff, you're a thug. Everybody's not on that, and if you are on it, that's fine. But there are people that's doing good stuff in the community and stuff. Everybody's not like cut off.
All them tattoos, he's a bad guy.
All right. So if your bike could tell us one thing about you, what do you think it would tell us?
Well, you are killing me with these questions. What would it say? I don't know. She always want to damn go somewhere. She always want to fucking go somewhere. I mean, I do. I honestly, and it's something that I kind of briefly touched on, but I love riding because it helped me clear my mind, whether it's local, it's places around here where I done went on back roads and did a ferry ride and stuff like that, or if it's just me being interested in trying to, see a new space. I really enjoy getting on my bike. It's one of the favorite things I do. It clears my mind. So
absolutely.
So for like a lot of like newer riders, I notice like a lot of times they feel pressure to like go out and do these things, which is great if they want to explore more, which they should, in due time. But what do you say to like those riders that they try to ride with groups of people? Not talking like MC and stuff like that, but they try to ride with groups. They try to ride with groups of people, and they feel like they got to get out there. They got something to show to prove. Like, what would you say to those people that's getting into the riding game and trying those things?
that's the fastest way for you to get hurt. You have to. It's a saying, but it's so simple. It's so true. You have to ride your own ride. If us three were out on the road right now, and y'all were doing some stuff that I'm not comfortable with, I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
As long as I got the location, I'll see y'all there. I mean, I remember being a newer rider, and there was a guy I was cool with. He was so excited and surprised that I got a bike, and he was like switching lanes and doing all this, fuck shit. And I was like, I won't there yet. Now I can switch a lane now, but a couple of years ago, no, I wasn't ready for that. So if you're a new rider, understand that you need to stick to your ability. Anybody that really rock with you, in my opinion, wouldn't even put you in that type of situation because they will understand that you are a new rider. They will want you to be safe. They're not going to try to push you past your limits. But just know your lane. If you know that that's not what you're used to doing, then don't try to do it because you can hurt yourself. And that's the last thing you want to do. You don't want to go down. That shit sucks. I've been there, done that too.
And I do have this, I do have this question because a lot of this interview of what you're saying a lot of great things, and I feel like it'll stick with a lot of people. What do you say like is the basis or the baseline of Just Gab? Like, what is Just Gab's mission? Like, what are you trying to put out there for the people?
My mission is to share my journey of pretty much writing, like the basis, because I'm very transparent of what I like and where I want to go and everything. And I'm just hoping that it inspires, other people. Maybe I go somewhere that somebody didn't know about, or maybe there's a topic like I said, I briefly touched on like how writing has helped me. I literally talked to somebody recently, and I opened up to them, and they told me that writing does the same thing for them. It's a lot of people that be going through stuff that people don't talk about, certain subjects and stuff. So I just want to be the one to be like, all right, y'all, yeah, hey, I like writing. This is what it does for me. This is what I enjoy doing, and just bringing awareness to being safe. Excuse me. Um, Learning as I go. To be honest, I don't know everything about my road glide and how to add stuff on it, but that's pretty much what I'm here to do.
Do you think that you become more spiritual since you've been on a bike?
Oh yes. I
Absolutely.
mean, I was already spiritual, but I pray before I get on the bike. I pray while I'm on the bike. It ain't like no long Baptist third Sunday two services, type prayer. But it's definitely like, yo, God, my G, I need you to I need you to watch over me while I'm on this road.
I believe bikes have souls. I know it sounds crazy. I used to build bikes,
Oh,
painted bikes,
cool.
choppers and bobbers. We'd go find some, piece of crap out of in a field somewhere and then give it life and repaint it and refabricate it or fabricate it and do things like that and just make it, give it a soul, give it a life again. And I don't know, man, something about those bikes. They all had a personality. Sometimes they'd crank up, sometimes they wouldn't crank up. Sometimes they would ride good, sometimes they choose not to ride good. And I truly believe, even to this day, my Crossbone. I had a 2008 Harley Davidson Crossbone, and she had a personality of her own. I do believe bikes have souls, and not to say that that takes anything away from higher power or grand architect of the universe or whatever you may believe in.
Hmm.
But I do. I personally, I think that I've become closer to a higher power when I'm on the road, or when I was on the road a lot more often. It does make you more connected to the things around you because you smell the environment. You're part of the environment. You're part of everything around you. And I don't think a lot of people understand that on bikes. You smell things. You feel when it gets cold. You feel when there's moisture in the air. You feel when it's hot. You know when it's dry heat, when it's humid. You know when the cars around you are running too fucking hot. You know when your bike's running too hot. You know all these things and you feel them and it's a part of you. That's why I love being out there because it is a spiritual thing. Not only, I mean, you do meet, good people and brothers and sisters and all that kind of. You meet bad people too, but
Hmm.
um, yeah, it's still a spiritual thing for me. That's what I was wondering.
Definitely, I definitely agree. Especially the part where you say you're more aware and you look at things a little different than when you're in the car. Because when you're in the car, you're distracted.
Hmm.
Even if you're not on the phone, you're listening to music or whatever. But when you're on the bike, you have to pay attention.
Yeah,
That's a must.
so when you can't think about all the stuff that doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
It just goes away because you can't afford to. You can't. It's like when you're on a mission, when you're employed, when no matter what you're doing, if your mind's somewhere else, that's when bad things happen to people.
Hmm.
So yeah.
I mean, I've had moments where honestly, I ain't gonna lie to you, I've totally like got into the point of just total relaxation on the bike, and I just zone everything out. It's like tunnel vision for me sometimes. I mean, that trip going down to towards Tennessee, it was just me and maybe like a few cars. It was so peaceful that my mind just melted away. Sometimes the bike takes you to a place where, like you said, you don't think about the negative. You know what I'm saying? You don't think about the outside world. It's just you, the bike, and the road, and it just gives that ultimate peace. So
Hmm.
I can definitely say I felt that, during my journeys. So
What do you do when you get too relaxed though? Like finding sleep.
I don't think I've ever
so
slept on a
so I
bike.
don't think I've ever been sleepy on a bike. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I've never been sleepy. I've been cold, but I ain't never been sleepy. So, um, yeah, I feel like like if I get sleepy, I mean, at this point, I
We
might
had a
just go
brother.
ahead and
He
stop,
had a
pull
fat
over.
boy. His arms would sit up, and his helmet would sit on his shoulders, and the bike he said would rattle just right on the highway. Sometimes it would just rattle. He said he would start falling asleep in his helmet because his helmet's resting on his shoulder, so it's like holding his head up a little bit. I was like, Ryan, never. I've never in my life felt like
Well,
I
I
haven't
I
fell
all the way.
asleep, but I've got tired. Like you throw that road glider in cruise control.
Oh yeah.
that's me messed up.
You just sitting there, you like, oh shit.
we got
I
to keep her riding
forgot.
with a group. We got to keep her riding with a group because if you ride in a group, you ain't playing in cruise control. We got to keep her with a group because I'm
I
saying
used to
right
get funny
now,
guys. I'd look
she ain't.
over, I'd see them. They be sitting there resting, hanging out. I just hate my life on my Springer because there's no cruise control in that bad boy. You just, my wrist is
No,
hurting. I'm
I
like,
gotta give my wrist a break sometimes though. So yeah,
I knew a
I
guy
gotta
that
throw it.
you
I
know
gotta
that
throw it
how
in.
you can put those little clips on your like
I've heard about them, but I've never.
so they're dangerous. Don't do it.
Oh, okay.
We had a brother.
Look, he sounds like he about to put you on or
Look,
something.
I was like, really?
Yeah, don't do that. He almost got in a wreck because traffic got too built up, and he was over here trying to. I don't know. He just got overwhelmed, I guess, and forgot that the little clip was there. Almost ran off the road, ran into other people.
Oh no.
It was rough. So what do you feel? Not that I mean, if we don't have to talk about it, but feel being in a club. You rode obviously without being in a club before you joined the club. Do you feel? Are you more confident now? Like obviously being in a club has made you even more confident. Be riding with other people, being in groups, being riding in. I don't know how y'all ride, but like we ride suicide. Like how all those different things that just obviously made you a lot more confident of a rider.
Yeah, so when I first started riding, no, I wasn't a part of a club. I was just riding like one of my coworkers and he was like, "Hey," but I joined my club because I want to be around other women. And I didn't know anything about the set. I didn't know that there was that many women riders until I was introduced to it. I was just so used to seeing guys all the time. I was always used to seeing women on the back of bikes. So when I came to find out that it was women that actually like had their own organizations and stuff, I was like, yo, that's cool. I want to be a part of that. I want to, ride in a pack with women too. So, and then doing that and having sisterhood and having somebody to, ride with me and do things with, yes, it's built my confidence. I enjoy it. I'm all for women empowerment. It's kind of like how you was talking about earlier. They got the female rides and stuff. I think stuff like that is dope. There's women that do cross country, and do different things, and I'm all for that. Like I'm all for that. So yeah.
And it does feel good when you're riding with other riders that are riding as good as you. Like 'cause
Mhm.
sometimes he'll tell me about the rides that they go on where it's like a lot of civilians and just all these Facebook groups and all these people just come together out of nowhere. And I'm like, I don't feel safe doing that. But now my guys, we rode everywhere. We rode across. I don't. I'm no. We. Anyways, my point just is, but riding like that makes you feel way better than and it shows you what you can do. It shows you what
Right.
you can love doing. Riding
Yeah,
with is kind of.
especially when you have someone that that you've been riding with like constantly. So I would say prime example, a buddy of ours. When I first started riding, I was on a sport bike. He was in an MC out there in San Diego, and literally I got my bike, and it was like what 2016. I had just came from what 2015, 2016. I just came 2016 because I just came back from deployment, and I came back from deployment a little early, but freaking I got my bike and he was like, I'm gonna show you how to ride because the group of people that I was riding with, like you said, like riding with people that know how to ride on a certain level, it does make a difference because the people I was riding with, they weren't riding safe, and they was telling me, the bad information. It was giving me misinformation that could possibly get me hurt someday. And one of our brothers actually, one of our Marine Corps brothers actually told me, said, look, you gonna come ride with me. And I rode with him and in his club, I would go to their events, they take me out and I still remember this to this day. He rode next to me side by side. I believe cut off. You call that suicide, right? We ride side by side.
Yeah. Mhm.
And well, this was extremely suicide because we on sport bikes and he's like directly next to me going through California traffic, and he had his hand on my shoulder, one hand on my shoulder, and was like, "You're gonna keep up with me, and you're gonna learn how to ride the right way." Once he felt I was comfortable enough to ride that like that, then we started working
hand on the shoulder.
Like,
why are y'all that close?
Hey, I gonna tell you. Look, I'm gonna tell you right now. When I first got my bike, I was nervous to be on the street on the highway. I was nervous. I'm not ashamed to say I was nervous. If anybody tell you that if anybody, if anybody ever say they wasn't nervous they first time going on the highway, you got some people that are out there that's probably like that. But for the most part, most people are nervous, and the people I was riding with, they wasn't teaching me the right way. So therefore, I had to learn not only from the BRC to ARC, but how to actually be a rider. And he taught me that. And he taught me to get rid of that fear of riding with people in a group, because they put that anxiety within me. You know what I'm saying? Because it was just, I had somebody slam on their brakes in front of me on purpose, and was like, "Oh, I'm trying to see how your reflexes are." No, don't do that. That's not what you do. And
that's ridiculous.
He was like, "Yeah, no,
I wouldn't ride with that person anymore."
Yeah, I don't. I stopped riding with him. And like you said, it's important to ride with people. Once I got to a certain level, I started, like you said, I started riding with people that ride, the same way I do, that want to ride safe and want to enjoy the ride, but at the same time, they're not too new. I wouldn't mind riding with someone that's a little newer. Maybe it's just me and them, and I can keep an eye on what's going on. Cool, because they want to get their miles. You always need someone to mentor you and guide you.
Yeah.
But as far as being a brand new rider trying to jump inside a big pack or a big
Oh,
group and just try to
no.
ride, oh no, don't do that.
No,
Those people.
not. First, before I'm like, did you take the basic rider course? Like, do you understand the fundamentals? Because some people, I mean, I wasn't that person, but some people just be wanting to, like, I remember before I actually went to the riding course, I had a friend that had a sports bike, and I was just so amazed before I even got a bike. I was like, "Oh, can you teach me how to ride?" And he was like, "No." And I don't even remember what type of sports bike he had. I'm like, I'll be lying if I said I did, but he was like so adamant, like, "I'm not gonna teach you. Like, I need you to go to the course." I need you to go to the course. So, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I rode for, and this isn't bragging. It definitely isn't saying it's the way you're supposed to go. But I rode a long time before I ever got a license, or before I ever went to a riding course, or before I really did anything make it legal. I was riding, and I started riding with the guys, man. It was stupid and dumb, and I shouldn't have done it. I dropped my first bike, the Kawasaki, when I was doing it. Yeah, the front tire. I tried to change the front tire on the side of the road. Got a hole in it. We put this green goo in it that's supposed to like fill up holes. They're like, all right, we can make it home. Rolling, tire comes completely off the rim. I hit the ground. Like, just dumb stuff like that. I wish, I definitely wish there would have been somebody or somewhere to learn those things from. But that's what makes this ride great. That's what makes your story different. Is that we all came about it in a different way. So makes it worth listening to.
I don't know. I don't know. Gab, she out there hitting the road. I might have to hop on the back of her bike so I can go to sleep once she hit that King
12. Three guys are nice. You could definitely throw slipper on bad boys.
I gotta make sure I keep her awake. So if she starts falling, I can just nudge her and I go back to sleep.
Nah. Hey, get your ass up.
Cut off said, I don't got long enough hair to be on the back of his bike. So
you got that.
Look, he is pulling it. It's like
you
nice.
got the wrong genitalia to be honest.
Long and luxurious.
I had an old
wrong hardware. It's all right.
I had the old king and queen seat. I had the old school king and queen seat on my Springer, so there wasn't no room. It was just me.
He threw that in. Hey, it wouldn't have been no room for you either way.
There would have been no room, dog.
Hey,
you got any? We're at
it's
54
fine.
minutes.
It's fine. Listen, at least I know if my bike go down, I not to ask you if you can give me a ride to the to the gas station. It's all right. Nope. You better wait for that tow truck.
We're walking together, pirate leg and all.
Oh, God.
we can hop, skip, and jump.
So speaking of that, because Cut Off, if you don't mind me saying, because Cut Off was in an accident, where he lost his leg. Have you seen like or witnessed the dangers that other riders could have possibly caused. Not necessarily saying like just being out and riding. Maybe some random person you probably see them riding and say, have you ever like seen that while you was out on the road or just hanging out or something like that?
Yeah, I've seen people that just didn't pay attention, like even on the road locally, like here, just people just don't be paying attention sometimes.
You could be doing everything right.
Yeah, like you can be like riding and somebody just like act like they want to swerve over and like that stuff like that piss me off. Or it'll be something happen where they're not cutting you off, but like I've seen somebody where I'm right here, a tractor trailer is right here, and somebody go and like get in front of the tractor trailer where if they trying to slam on brakes, what the fuck is gonna happen to the rest of the truck? Like stuff like that happened. I was like, oh my gosh, like so.
Well, I will say this. This might make you feel a little bit better. Since I have done some time, living inside Virginia. Virginia drivers, yeah, they say they fill up. Virginians for lovers, but they drivers aren't that great. But they're a lot better than the drivers up here in Connecticut. I've been on the road and I've had people come speeding up behind me and then they'll be right there by my tires, swerving around, and then now I'm looking at their tail lights like damn near right in front of my front tire. So I feel like, or maybe this is a question that you could probably answer since you've been multiple states now. Do you feel as though like your sense of awareness changes depending on the state, or do you feel like it get heightened the further you get away from home, or do you feel like some places you like go to, it'll be more like you like, okay, they're not too bad, they're actually using signals, or because you also have that one guy that mess up for everybody?
No, I think it's heightened regardless because I mean, anytime you're on the street, you're not in control of the other cars. So I think regardless if I'm in Virginia or if I'm in Georgia, it's always that possibility. So I'm always kind of like, all right, let me see what they doing. I think the only time that I'm not on guard is if I'm like by myself. If I'm on a back road or if, nobody's up, then I'm like, okay, cool. But the moment that is traffic, I gotta, to the best of my ability, stay on guard because, like I said, I don't have control over what they're doing.
Well, I would say still stay on guard when you're by yourself because if you're on back roads, you got a different enemy out there. You got the
Well, yeah, that's true too. But
they
I mean,
become the ops.
Yeah, not the ops. I mean, that's true too. That's true too.
I think I told Cutoff when I was leaving Oklahoma. I was like, man, listen, them deer was on both sides. I thought they was gonna jump me. It's like every 5 miles, every 2 to 5 miles, I felt like they was gonna jump me. I don't care. It was like 10 on each side. I'm like, oh nah. Hey, look, I was born in New York, originally from New York, lived in Norfolk. I ain't see a deer in Norfolk, and then going out there, see all deer. I was like, oh my
deer in Norfolk.
I don't think there's
if I see a deer in Norfolk, I might have to be terrified. He might try to rob me. I don't know.
Oh God! Don't talk about. He said it, y'all. Not me.
Hey, Norfolk is a beast. Man.
There's a lot of AA meetings and NA meetings in Norfolk. That's about it. A lot of AA meetings.
You gotta watch out when you go out there. Well, Gabby, we asked you questions. Do you have any questions you have for us?
No, I'm just really happy that y'all let me come up here. Y'all funny as hell. Y'all funny as hell.
I know she like that. They didn't put me on a hot seat. They didn't ask me these questions.
Right. I'm talking about in-depth questions too.
No,
she might be hit you. She might hit you with a Chris Brown. I'm from VA. We don't answer them questions.
Yeah. Before we call it quits for the evening, do you have anything you would like to? One last thing you'd like to leave with the with the people?
Yeah, so your girl Gabby. Make sure if you want to stay in touch with me that you hit me up on the socials on Instagram. I'm Just Gab. That's JUSTGAB_757 on Instagram. Also on TikTok, and then on YouTube is Just Gab757, no underscore.
And folks, that's all we have for today. Also, follow Cutoff on TikTok. You can follow
TikTok.
myself on
Same as
TikTok as well.
KUTT_OFFTM trademark.
And same here. SHAWIL Glide, this your boy. And as always, remember, keep them twos down.
Damn, I like
out
that.
of here.
Keep the shiny side up and the greasy side down. That's it for episode 1. We appreciate y'all for riding with us. Shout out to our guest, Just Gabs757, for bringing the heat. New episodes drop every week. We appreciate y'all and stay dangerous.